Welcome to the Tao of Joy and Sorrow, an exploration of how these two companions, joy and sorrow, intertwine in our lives. This journey is both a personal tool and a quiet invitation, a way to train for joy and to find the courage to navigate through sorrow. The Sufi poet Khalil Gibran wrote an essay titled Of Joy and Sorrow that has long been a touchstone for me. In it, he reminds us that our capacity for joy is carved by our experience of sorrow. His words invite reflection and balance. My quest is to better understand this interplay. Perhaps yours is, too. The invincible host within. Your success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to keep happy, and your joy and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. Helen Keller. Before my son Davis, our youngest, was born, I felt invincible, strong, healthy, and full of plans. I believed that if I worked hard enough, loved deeply enough, and prepared thoroughly enough, life would unfold more or less as I had imagined. And I had a pretty good imagination that included moments filled with deep connection to special friends and family, belly-rich laughter, and plentiful space for romance and friendship with my husband Rick. Before Davis, my horizon held only rainbows. The rainbows disappeared when Davis was 3, and his rare genetic diagnosis came a-knockin'. I sat alone in our geneticist's office, not really alone. I had Davis on my lap and a room full of medical students listening in, learning. The doctor named our future, or lack thereof, for life expectancy for my son was unknown. He was the 34th in the world to receive the diagnosis, deletion on the 22nd chromosome, 22q13.3. I felt devastated. For Davis, for me, for everyone in our life impacted by our new defined reality. My world cracked open and I fell through. Many years later, when Davis was 27, I wrote Tao of Davis. This book was published before Davis hung on to life once again, and I needed desperately to return to one of the themes from my book. Train for joy, because sorrow is a given. At the same time, a dear friend, Dina Castor, Olympic medalist, world-class marathoner, and a member of what I call my first circle of sisters, lives this truth day in and day out. She seeks it, she shapes it, she trains for it, and proceeded to do a TED Talk on the topic, Train for Joy. When I write, when I share my story, I am exploring the balancing act between both joy and sorrow. The Tao sees these not as specific roads, but rather as two currents in the same river. Sometimes, in hard moments, I shake my fist to the skies above and say, well, maybe yell, enough, please, I am carved. My tantrum is a simple act to remind me there will be a balance. The rainbows always return after a storm, after an ER run, after a life flight. Davis brings challenges, and he brings delight. To sit with this young man who has no words is to be with a soul who lacks guile, cunning, anger. He is grace wrapped up in simplicity. He has taught me to delve deeper into my own invincibility, not born of plans, but of presence. I call moments of joy my keeper moments, the memories which hold me steady when times are tough, like a shield, not to block sorrow, but to carry me safely through the currents. These become my invincible host against despair. Helen Keller's words remind me that this host is made of inner allies: gratitude, hope, curiosity, love. I cannot call them up only when times are easy. They must also be invited in during the midst of a challenge or during sorrow. Choices to notice what is good around me, to be kind to myself and to others, to keep joy alive alongside grief. The Tao whispers that the strongest force is not the one that resists the storm, but the one that bends with it and rises again. My son's diagnosis changed my life, but it also returned me to my truest self, the one who still knows how to stand in joy even when the ground shifts beneath my feet.